As we catch up with people who've come through the doors at KARK, some of them have gone on to do great things. Some of them, though, have done great things while here at KARK. Case in point, Miss Arkansas, former Miss Arkansas, Lencola Sullivan. Thank you for joining us, Lencola.
It's my pleasure.
And Miss Arkansas, first, just part of your resume, you went on to compete in the Miss America pageant as well.
Yes.
A lot to get to here. You're an amazing person, great personality, and you have done so much. But take us back to coming to KARK. First, you were going to UCA.
That's correct. I graduated from the University of Central Arkansas.
Fill us in.
And so I majored in speech and theater arts with emphasis in broadcasting. So actually getting the job here at Channel 4 was my dream job.
Mm-hmm.
It was my dream job. So I did not actually want to do pageants actually after that because I didn't feel like I needed to because I was already working my dream job.
As far as you were concerned, you were at the pinnacle.
I was at the pinnacle,
Uh-huh.
but I was Miss White River, and I had won that pageant like a year before the Miss Arkansas pageant, so before I started working here.
So then you're here at KARK. Tell me about the group of folks you walked into working with.
Oh my goodness, so many great people. I mean, Gary Long, I mean, Carolyn Long, Tom Bonner. I mean, there were so many wonderful people that, Deborah Mathis, who was a legend, and I worked specifically with her when I first started, and then worked with Tom because I did weather. I did weather on the weekends, every other weekend, but weather mainly in the mornings, early in the mornings, which was a lot of fun.
What was the learning curve like for you at
The
that
learning
point?
curve working here? Well, actually, it was on the job a lot of times because when I would actually come here on the weekends when hardly anybody was in the station at all. And I enjoyed that because it was more quiet, but you could get more attention from the people who were working because they had more time to spend with you.
Yeah.
So Leo Green was also here at that time. I don't know if you know Leo,
Yep,
but he was here
Leo.
at that time. And so I worked closely with him. And so he would say, okay, well then there's something going on there. Okay, get in the news car and go with him. So that's how I got a little bit of extra experience just by volunteering myself and coming here on the weekends just to work.
Working in a newsroom certainly is, I mean, it's a big job. It could be 24/7 sometimes, and especially you're in the weather department. Severe weather is heavy duty. Then you decide that, I'm going to get back into pageants. And while you're here, you're also competing in Miss Arkansas.
Yeah, so what happened was, like I said, I was Miss White River. And then all of a sudden I in preparation for Miss White River, you have to do a lot of interviews.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first phase of your competition as in the Miss Arkansas or Miss America, is the interview. And the interview is the most important phase of the competition. So actually working here was actually a perfect training ground because current events is very important to know about that. And here we were, at those days, we were ripping the wire, of course, the AP wire and things like that. And you got to know everything. And then here we would watch all of the stations. So all the stations were there and I was watching all of them to just prepare myself and then say, ask myself, how would I feel about this? And what are my feelings about this? So it was actually being aware of all that was happening in the world and being here to just recognize all that helped to prepare me for Miss Arkansas.
Working in a newsroom, you were well read.
Yes.
To say the
and
least.
that helped a lot.
And then you become Miss Arkansas.
And then I became Miss Arkansas. And I was still working. And then that was Saturday. And I was supposed to be work on Monday. And I forgot to come to work because I was so busy being Miss Arkansas. I thought, they're going to fire me. I haven't even had a chance to call them and tell them that I
don't think
won.
Gary Long could have fired Miss Arkansas.
Oh, it was very interesting. It was very interesting.
And then when did you leave KARK, and then in what time frame did Miss America come?
Well, it's a few months later. So actually we only had a few months to prepare. So I won the title, I think it was in July of 1980, and then Miss America was in September in Atlantic City. And that was very special because I worked for Channel 4, and then NBC was also carrying the Miss America pageant live. So it was an incredible opportunity to have Carolyn Long to come with me to Miss America and
wow,
document
how great.
everything.
That must have been exciting.
Yeah, it was very exciting.
And you broke some barriers at Miss America.
Yes, I did. Well, the first barrier I broke was actually winning the title of Miss Arkansas because no other person of color had ever won the title of of any title actually in the South. So I was the first African American to win in the southern part of the United States. And then once we got to Miss America, there was one other African American contestant. So that was the first time there were ever two, and then I ended up being top
A lot
5.
on your shoulders as a young lady.
Yeah, there's a lot on our shoulders because it was the first of everything.
Uh-huh.
So when you're the first of everything, sometimes that does make a little bit of a difference. But you know, it was all for me. The reason for doing the entire journey for me was to earn scholarship money so I could pay my way through college. And I'm proud to say that Miss America paid for my entire college education.
Well, you certainly carry that responsibility with grace and class as well. Going back to KRK, still that was always something that was rooted in you
Yes.
throughout your entire journey.
Yes, it was. I mean, I think I grew up wanting to work in television, and when I worked here, I did a lot, like I said, in weather, and I enjoyed going out and chasing tornadoes when I had the opportunity, and helping to draw the weather maps, and helping Tom to stay on track of whatever he was doing at that time as well.
Then let's talk about a whole nother aspect of your professional life, your singing career.
Yes.
How did that come about? I mean,
Well,
that was always been your talent.
That was always my talent. That was always my talent. So I had an opportunity to perform with some pretty interesting people along my journey. I mean, I was the featured vocalist for the Lionel Hampton Orchestra. So I was featured vocalist there. I did some background singing for Kool and the Gang, and also background vocals on a couple of Stevie Wonder's album projects as well.
That's exciting stuff.
That's exciting stuff. And then also traveling around in Europe, in Germany mainly, and Italy, on the Miss America USO tour. And that was really something that was close to my heart, because I have an opportunity to give back to my country in a way without picking up a gun, but in performing for the servicemen and women overseas.
And all this time you're thinking, I just can't wait to get back to KRK so I can do some weekend weather.
Exactly.
Did you ever think about coming back to KRK or coming back to local
I'm thinking about it
television?
right now, actually.
I know. We took a tour of the newsroom. It was all coming back to you.
It was all coming back to me. I was like, this is incredible. I said, I so want to come back here. I just can feel the energy of being here, and I miss it because I'm a news junkie. I mean, my husband can tell you, I'm a total news junkie. So I enjoy it, and anytime I can contribute, you know, I'm always willing to.
And then also your journeys now, you live in the Netherlands.
I live in the Netherlands.
Tell us how you met your husband, Roel.
Oh my goodness, how much time do you have?
We've got some time.
Okay, that was because of 9/11, to be honest with
Really?
you. I was living in New York, so I lived in New York for 20 years. And while I was there, I was the managing director for a Dutch nonprofit organization. So while there, during that time after 9/11, they asked someone to come from New York, actually, to thank the Netherlands business community for their kind contributions to the victims of the 9/11. And that's actually where I met my husband, was at the throne of the king, the throne of the queen at that time.
Well, the crowns you've been wearing.
Yeah, that was quite
Right.
interesting, huh? Interesting twist.
And you've been living in the Netherlands ever since.
Yes, for
And you guys are
23
very involved
years.
over there.
For 23 years, and I work for Shell.
And do you come back to Arkansas often, and then you were back here for the pageant?
I was back here for the pageant as well, so that's always fun. That is always fun to see my Miss Arkansas sisters, and to also welcome our new Miss Arkansas sister to the fold as well.
And how things go full circle, because KRK for the past few years has been airing the Miss
Which is
Arkansas pageant.
awesome. It's like it's just coming back home again. So it's incredible.
And I've got to
It's
tell you, it's
wonderful.
interesting too, because you do keep your eyes on your home state, because you're talking Todd Jacoby in Weather Center,
Yes.
and when we have severe weather here, you're in the Netherlands and you're tracking the severe weather in Arkansas.
That is absolutely correct. I am tracking weather in Arkansas, to believe it or not. I am tracking the weather. I really, really enjoy it. And then I call my family that I know, okay, you're going to be impacted. Are you ready? So just in case you don't know, but it's exciting. So it's really great to be able to keep in track with what's going on here, and especially keep in track with what's going on at my home at KARK TV.
And that group of people that you worked with at KRK, you're still very close.
I'm still very close
In fact,
to
you
them.
make sure that you stop and see them when you're in town.
Absolutely. I'm going to see Dana right after I leave this interview, actually. And it was wonderful because last night I had an opportunity. I missed the big reunion that was held a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it then. But last night I had dinner with David Jones, who was my heart,
Former
of course.
general manager.
Yeah. It was incredible. So I had dinner with him and Marianne and Carolyn Long and Dana Dussing as well. So it was, and Carolyn's husband, John, and my husband will join us as well. So it's really great to just be able to to just hug their necks whenever I come home as
And
well.
it's the KRK connection a lot of people have. They
Yeah.
carry with them
It never leaves
their
you.
entire lives.
This is family. This is home. This is
Lencola,
home.
thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's my pleasure.
We're back right after this.